And good evening, and long time no speak. And well, it's been a busy month, I guess, weather-wise, but nothing really severe at this stage. And it's probably not going to be severe in the sense that we're used to tomorrow, but it's going to be pretty hectic. So, Mr. Sharp, the mayor of Camden, did message me and say, "What about Alive?" And I thought, yeah, why not? It's time to touch base with everybody. Tomorrow is going to be the most hectic day, and it's pretty worth talking about. And of course, there is now the chance of obviously flash flooding continues, but there's now also the chance of some riverine flooding, especially in the Nepean. The Bureau has put out a flood watch, and we'll look at that in a minute. A flood advice. It's not necessarily going to happen at this stage. It's basically a heads up that it may happen depending on where the rain falls. So I thought, well, let's get together, get our collective gear on, and have a look at what the devil is going on. So without further ado, let's go and look into it. All right, so first of all, look at quickly today. We'll recap what's going on at the moment. So we can see it's been a bloody cold, miserable, wet day, as we all pretty expected. And temps 13 to 14, which is pretty much what we thought they were going to be. Cold. A couple of key interesting things that we need to know. So the first thing is obviously it's cold, and as I just said. The other thing now is these column here. This very much this ease that we're seeing in the wind direction, and also what we want to see now is these gusts on the right hand side here up into those 20s and 30s, and then we'll know things are really starting to hammer on. But I think it's going to happen. Well, we'll look at satellite picture in a minute, but I'm pretty sure personally it's going to happen within probably the next 2 or 3 hours. There's a surge of super cold air coming down from the northwest associated with that upper low, and it's racing down this way. And once that interacts with the coastal trough, which is already now formed and pumping away, I think we're probably going to see a rapid explosion. Whether we see everything or not will be, I guess, the key. And we'll go from there. But really want this column here to be easterlies and southeasterlies on the coast. Absolutely. These southwesterlies in the west are fine because it means that the trough is actually quite near us, almost on top of us. So you sort of expect that, which is what you want to see. Um, and then they'll eventually, obviously, depending on how deep the trough gets swirled, that probably may swing around to the south or even southeast, depending about where it is. What we do not want to see in this direction column is northeasterlies and northerlies, because that is basically game over. Either the trough is down, obviously weak or gone, or it's actually to our south, which is basically end of rain. If you're looking forward to rain, I guess there's lots of people out there who not really care about rain, but I personally love rain. So you can see the difference between us again, also and Newcastle. I noticed that EJ from the Sunny Coast mentioned online today about they hadn't had much rain this morning, and that was definitely a consequence of that northeasterly direction. If you look at the coast as it sort of curves up towards the Hunter there, it really does run parallel to any sort of northeasterly. So they were only catching the occasional shower. But I'm assuming now, I haven't had a chance to hop on and check comments a bit recently, but I'm assuming that the rains returned to the sunny coast now, given that these easterlies are sort of pumping in. But yeah, as you can see here, we're on the sort of southeasterlies, and you can see Newcastle's under easterlies. So you can see that Newcastle already closer to sort of the trough, or the trough's right on top of them, or not far away from. Whereas the southeast for us shows that the trough is still pretty just off the coast, which is why we're sort of getting these intermittent bands of showers. But that should increase again, as I said, and we'll check radar and satellite pictures in a minute. Within the next 2 hours, I think at least, when this surge comes down from the northwest and hooks up with all this moist easterlies and southeasterlies that are pumping on shore, and also being assisted by some pretty good moisture coming from the northeast as well. It's wrapping around on the northern side of this surface trough. So I expect conditions will rapidly deteriorate overnight, but whether it ends up into anything exciting or useful, I guess, is your matter of perspective. I'm still think there's a few red flags about this, but anyway, troughs are nefarious to forecast, much like East Coast lows. There's a whole lot of ingredients that goes into them, where they sit, where they stand. But yeah, other thing too is to watch this pressure. You can see it's still quite high at 1029. So we really want to start to see that plummet. And if we go to like a coastal gauge, which is probably this airport's probably the best, you can see it actually has dropped 4 hectopascals, 3 hectopascals today at least. So that's a good sign, down from 1032. And it's still continued to drop. So normally you have the normal atmospheric diurnal tide, which means the pressure goes down during the day and then starts going back up at night time. Um, it will, if this is continuing to fall now that the sun has gone down, obviously, that is a sign that the trough is deepening, and that is what we want to see. So we want to see this air pressure really drop down to probably, 1,020 or less, and then we'll know this trough is really ramping up and starting to fire up. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on those winds. We do want to keep it more southeasterly for this stage. East southeasterly is fine. We don't want to see any sort of north in that at this point in time, because that does mean the trough is starting to move inland or away from us or to the south. So that will say that the rain is going to start clearing within 12 hours maximum typically. Alrighty, that's enough to be worrying about that. But so yeah, you can see Sydney Airport, must point out to there's a couple of long-standing all-time August records in the firing line if tomorrow goes bonkers. And there is a chance. There is an absolute chance when there's cold air around and there's plenty of moist air coming in, and there is some northeasterly wrapping into this too as well. Tomorrow could end up 150 mils. It's just that it's just one of those things. The models try and, I guess, best extrapolate where their things are going to fall. And obviously, sometimes because of their resolution, they'll smooth out rain across the whole area. So you might see models in the middle, they'll say 70 mils basically for the whole of maybe the Sydney Basin. But that might be, the first 10 kilometers of the coast. So you can basically say maybe 150 mils on the coast and only 30 mils or something, or 40 mils in the inner west and west. So that's the other consideration you're going to take into account. Just because there's pretty colors on a rainfall chart does not mean you're guaranteed of getting that rainfall. It's a smoothed out fall across the whole of the basin. So, and as we've seen recently, pretty colors don't mean squat sometimes. So that's why I've been flagging. I've continued to flag every day with red flags about my concerns about this event. I'm still not 100% convinced that we're going to see ginormous falls tomorrow, but this is an accumulator, not a torrentialator. Oh, is that a good word? Maybe not. And so far, it's done its job of accumulating, as we'll see very soon. So, Sydney Airport now up to nearly 290 mils. So very soon it pops into that rare 300 category mils for August. And there's only been, I think, two other Augusts have ever gone over 300 mils. So we're absolutely into complete, rare territory now for August. And the chances tomorrow that it may pop into, never on record type of territory if those falls happen. That's 290 mils, and it's still got a pretty long way to go. We need a pretty smashy fall tomorrow. But the other place that is closest are Mascot. It's up to 240 something mils, I think it is. And its record's only 370 or 390, something like that. So it's definitely in the firing line to come down tomorrow if this sort of rain event does pick up and is a lot more focused or localized than the models are expecting. Mascot definitely is in the firing line, and that is a pretty long-standing rainfall record as well. So I have no doubt there's going to be some shorter term sites that will set records absolutely for this month, just due to the fact that they've not been around very long. Places in there like Holsworthy or Lucas Heights, those sort of places have only been like 20 or 30 years in records, even less. Definitely in the firing line for some records there, because 98 was the last big August, as you can imagine. And that was a La Nina Field one, and then 1986 before that. And of course, then before that, I think it was 1951, I think, or 54, something like that, was the massive falls. Otherwise, so yeah, we're going to see some monthly records absolutely smashed this month. But the historical sort of context ones, the ones we're looking at is Observatory Hill, Mascot, those long-term sort of sites, and they're the ones we're keenly watching, because if they go over, then we've seen a number of historic records just in the last couple of years. You think back to 2022, how many historic records we've broken that year alone. And if we get more rain now in August 2025, when there's no climate drivers, there's a simmering sort of IOD, and it is starting to beef up and look a bit decent. But this moisture ain't coming from the IOD. This is all localized, driven activity with a bit of a bit of northeasterly sort of fetch. There's no La Nina or El Nino at the moment. There's no SOI. It's basically back down to one, and it has been declining steadily. There's no real tropical waves around at the moment, and as I said, the SAM is actually plus 2.2 as of this afternoon, or yesterday, a couple of days ago, because SAM data lags obviously by 2 days. So again, the absence of a climate driver, a significant climate driver, a clear climate driver is absolutely outstanding to get this sort of stuff. So whatever happens in the next few days, just sit back and know that you're around for August 25. The year, the month that we smashed, just sort of got this sort of rainfall with zero basically to identify or pinpoint or blame for it, other than of course the ships, the HARP, the 5G, the chemtrails, the geoengineering, Albo. I think what else we got? What others? The ships. I didn't see the ships offline tonight. I must have missed them. All the other stuff. Putting it as one aside, of course. So yeah, interesting times. All right, let's go. We got to look at the go away, please. Thank you. The flood watch, which is basically like a heads up. It's not guaranteed, and it's not saying it's happening, but it is basically say, look, we think conditions in that area could possibly cause some flooding, and that's not unexpected given how saturated the soils are. It's been a very wet August, as I was just talking about. So anything that falls now really is just going to run straight off into the creeks and riverine areas. At this stage, the good news is that there is nothing for the Hawkesbury. So those people downstream of Warragamba will pretty be happy about that. But again, a big asterisk question mark next to that will be just how much falls in that Nepean. We know that Warragamba is absolute chocker full. I haven't seen anything from Sydney Water about any releases or dam gate opening at this stage. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. If that doesn't happen, of course, then downstream should be pretty okay for those people on the Hawkesbury, bearing in mind what falls up in the Colo, because we know the Colo is actually forecast to get some minor to moderate. So I'm not sure personally how much water does pump in, but I know that our great friends at Lower Portland there, Tracy, and her business are near the junction of the Colo and the Hawkesbury. So our thoughts are for you because we know you've got that massive event coming up at the end of August and early September. Um, at this stage, I still think you'll be okay. I'm being hopeful. I don't think that we'll see the amount of falls in those areas that the models are sort of flagging at this stage, unless we've seen a pretty significant change in the trough alignment or its location. And of course, that's possible. I'm not ruling that, but my red flag is I don't think the inland areas are going to see quite as much as the models are excited about. But next 24 hours, I guess we'll find out. But the good news is that should clear very quickly, and there's quite a few dry days coming up, and there's looks like some of those August winds may pop in for a visit next week sometimes. So that will definitely help dry out grounds and get rid of some obviously groundwater and surface water that's laying around. So fingers crossed for you guys out there. We do want you to have a great event, and I think I can't remember the name, but sorry, but it's that speedboats or the power boats, whatever it is on the river there, end of August, September. So if you are interested in that sort of thing, absolutely hook them up. While I'm on here blathering away, I'll actually pull up her info and I'll get that to you, and I'll try and actually pull that up on the screen as well if I can get it organized in time. But it is actually the Dargle Water Ski Park, and the a big event is the DVBC Winter Spectacular. Um, and it's definitely going to be a wintry spectacular because it's going to be bloody cold and pretty wet. So yeah, it's a massive event. So anybody interested in speedboats, I think that's what they're called, are they? Something like that, Tracy. You'll sure know, you'll correct me, but and it's actually an Australian sort of event too. So it's a pretty big event. Just free plugs them, and I'm gonna try and get the graphic up, as I said, while I rub it on here. And try not to close everything down like we usually do and cause chaos. All right, just quickly checking out forecast. You can see the Bureau's a lot more excited about tomorrow than they have been recently. I'm not sure we'll get to anywhere close to 18 degrees. I'm not sure they're that excited about 18 degrees. But, I mean, they went for, what did they go for today? 16, 17 or 18, something like that. We got to 14. So, take 4 off that, maybe 15 tomorrow. I don't know how much the temperatures per se yet, but we can check them out together very shortly. But the interesting thing for me is that now the 70 mils mark, which is that's the highest they've had so far for this whole event. And they're steadily going up, which says to me that some of their modelling is showing that, yeah, there might be some little bit more rain falling than they're expecting. All right, we're going to quickly check out the sat pick and then hop into some live reacts on the models and they're updated. So the interesting thing I want to support is here. So, and you can hopefully those who've been watching and listening to my blatherings at time and maybe learn a little bit, you'll notice quite a few things. So first of all, notice the position. This is the surface trough here, this line of cloud. You can see it's reasonably organized, but not that strong. There's a few poking head tops there, which is some indication of some storms. You can see there's little bubble, like pimples type thing there. But really, it's a moderate. It's not weak. It's not strong, but it's popping away. And then as we go through today, you watch how it actually intensifies, gets stronger, and you can watch why that is because you watch here. Watch this line of cloud here, this other line of cloud too. So there's different layers of the moisture here, different layers of the air. Okay, so you watch that. So it's a bit too down, but you'll see this line here. Watch what it. Watch this cloud as that starts to surge in. You can see it starts to really push in, and then whack up, everything starts to go. And look how thick that cloud gets. Just in those sort of after lunch, which is when I flagged you, so I said between 12 and 2, it did really flag that things would start to pick up in activity. And we didn't see as much as I thought we were going to see, or the models actually forecast we are going to see, but we did see an increase. But you can see what's coming down towards us from the northwest, which is what I was flagging to. And you can see these little lines in the clouds here. Hopefully you can see that. It's I can actually make it a bit bigger for you. Maybe that might be better. I can see lines. That's pretty better. See those lines there? It looks like someone's got a crane or something like that, or like a rake and gone on the top of it. That indicates uh, excellent outflow or upper divergence. That's actually strong winds blowing across the top of those clouds. And this is what this hazy sort of crap on the southern side of it is. That's all a cirrus cloud or amber cloud. It's obviously known sometimes. Oh, it's actually amber cloud. And it's actually getting blown away from this upper low and this trough by those upper winds, the jet stream. And that's an excellent mechanism for actually keeping this trough strong and going forward and obviously longevity because it's drying, it blows away the drier, dead air that's been squeezed by these massive storms and rain across the northern tablelands here. You can see there's a huge convergence over here, which is that moist easterlies pumping in into that upper low. You can see that almost like you can just draw a line down there. So you've already got this surface trough here, and then you've got this other sort of main sort of trough, which is coming towards the coast, which is really going to fire things up. Now, I did see at one stage there might be something up here at the north coast. I haven't checked, to be honest. I've been too busy and I've been focused on us. But that is a bit of a reason why we're seeing just the things sort of die off a little bit because as it's sucked into it. But as you can see now, it's pushing very quickly towards the coast. And you can see as of right now, it's pushing through the Alpha Hunter and it's not far away from us. So then we'll get to see just what sort of starts to transpire, how it kicks off overnight, and what we will see as a consequence. Now, if I flick on the radar now, and we can see it, and we'll just let it load because I have to refresh. But we'll see just to get what's going on. Um, and you can see that surface trough, and then you can see it actually encroaches towards us, starts getting close to us, and then you can still start to see how the winds get the sucked into this upper low, and it's also got a surface low now. Looking at that now, you can see quite clearly it's spinning around there with a few times as a surface vorticity. It's slowly coming through, and this is what really frustrates me about these upper low systems, is they tend to take their time, but and you can see the mass of rain and a few flicks of lightning there heading this way. So definitely the chance of storms. Definitely this is going to fire up the coastal trough, and I guess we'll see then what exactly eventuates. And I think this is one of the reasons why the models are going for some decent rain over the Blue Mountains and the Barrington, that sort of stuff, is because of this sort of convergent blob as it comes across. But I guess we'll see what does happen and what plays out. Um, yeah, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. All right, I was going to show. We'll look at the models in here. I was actually going to put them on through the usual app I do, but we'll go through here first because it's a bit of a. This is a better visual than the other one is. The other one's a bit more sort of geeky orientated. All right, so we'll go under here and we'll go to array accumulations. What we best we're going to do. All right, so we've got right now. So we'll just change that to, we've got EC, but when is EC updated? I don't think it has. And we'll zoom into us. We don't need to see anybody out. So we're just going to focus on us now. We'll clear our lovely folk up in the sunny coast. And I'm just going to click on here for a second, just give it a chance to check the timings. Update. Oh, there you go. Wow. EC being nice to us for a change. It actually updated just right now. All right. So what we'll do is we'll look at what we normally do is we'll go for no good looking at 11, from 11 a.m. So we'll go from now. We'll do a period. We'll do 12 hours, 6 to 6. This is not a massive, massive event, so we don't need to have that sort of granularity that we normally do. But you can see here, that should be the forecast. Whether can, yeah, you can do. So, and what is that? 12 hours overnight. We're looking at up to 20 mils, which is what I flagged this morning. That's still a pretty substantial four overnight. And of course, don't forget that's smoothed out, and you can see there's some difference in shading here. So obviously, the darker greens and the yellowy greens are focused on the Blue Mountains, of course, and of course on the coast. And there's sort of lighter colors in between, and that's definitely that shows you that there's that trough around. So ramping up, dumping its load on the coast, and then sort of as it hits the Blue Mountains, getting squeezed, and that could also be the outcome or the effects of that stuff coming down from the northwest as well. So there's two type separate systems here. So what we want to see is whether these sort of connect and then throw greens and yellows across the whole of the Sydney Basin or not. But it's still going to be quite wet tonight on EC's view. So I'm just going to do one day at a time because there's no good looking at Friday, because Friday we'll look at it after this because it's going to be two. So we'll then push into the next 12 hours after that, which we can see right, yeah, okay. Pretty much yellows and greens firing up there, as you can see. So from 6 till 6 tomorrow, pretty wet. 30s to what's that, 40s, maybe almost 50 mils in that 12 hours. Add to that the 20, 30 mils that might fall overnight. You're looking at 50, 60, 70 mils pretty closely already. And I guess that's why the Bureau's put out this sort of watch. You can see the good thing is there's not that heavy falls over here. They've had 40 to 50 mils, I think, already, watching the pen sort of out of the corner of my eye, which they'll definitely get some things pumping, but I'm not sure if the mayor of Camden will have to put in the chat what he thinks that'll get the bridge over the only exit out of Camden. I'm sorry, the only bridge into Camden underwater or not, but we'll see. And then going from that, we can see that we'll start to see, yeah, start to see that trough start to really pull off and PAQ pretty quickly, and drag off as it loses touch with the stuff that the fuel that's keeping it going. The upper low starts to wane and get off to the east, and of course then the jet stream starts to move off to the east as well, and the trough will soon follow and weaken and goodbye. But all right, so let's have a look what EC is saying. Basically, from now, let's go through to Friday because we know that there's showers, going to be a few showers on Friday morning. We'll keep it at that. Okay, so get 80 to 90 mils across pretty what half of the basin, and then the rest is 50 to 60 mils. It's not, for me, that's not severe, but it's definitely still something that needs to people need to be take into account, because again, it's not only just that's spread across the whole basin, so it could actually be heavier in some places and lighter in other places. So don't sort of put your own gauge out and expect that you get exactly that drop to the pot, and then when it doesn't happen, get all freaky about it and say it's a fizzer, it's a fizzer. All right, because again, as I say, models smooth out data across an area, and so oh, sorry, that's me trying to get trace this thing organized for it. So models do smooth out data across an area. My goodness, I'm trying to do two things at once here, and I've just done on both things. Yeah. So yeah, don't be expecting that whatever falls in your gauge, be thankful, because there's other people, especially west of the Great Dividing Range, who haven't got much for a long period of time. All right, let's have a look now. We'll reset it back to that and we'll live react 6 to 6 on. Let's go for Get Far Away Soon, which is up next. So you can see already, like GFS, and GFS has done this for a couple of runs now. It's really favoring the sort of the, I don't know necessarily the trough moving inland quick enough, or it's the stuff coming out from northwest. It's probably sort of another axis of the trough. And it probably is more the mid levels and the upper levels of the trough, whereas the surface levels of the trough do lay off the coast. But it's more favouring definitely that orographic effect and also that effects of that sort of band coming down from northwest. But still, 20 to 30 mils across, but definitely nothing anywhere near exciting as we saw at EC. And then you can see it starts to pick up quite significantly throughout the day. So what was that, 30 mils, and then between 12 hours, got 40 to 50 mils in the 12 hours. So what's that? That's 70, 80 mils. So it pretty much agrees with EC in terms of the cumulative fall, but just how it happens a different sort of scenario. So interesting there. And what we do for the next 12 hours, let's go have a look. Rapid clearing, like it still had some coastal showers hanging around, especially getting up to nearly 10 mils, and then obviously buggering off Friday. All right. And I'll show you the cumulative falls for all of them at the end of it. Oh, actually, no, I did show you ECs already. Did I show you ECs? No, I didn't. We'll do them at the end. What did I? I can't remember. I'll get back to it anyway. Icon, let's go. So icon, here we go. 6 to 6. Bring that back a bit. Um, Again, very much almost copy and paste of EC, except a bit lighter. And that's good verification there that they're pretty much from the same page. And these falls now will come down to localized issues. You know, you might get under a rain train or under a storm potentially, or even heavier cells. You'll get heavier falls. And don't forget that Icon isn't as high res as EC is. EC is 9Ks and Icon is at 13K, so that could be a bit of a smoothing effect as well. But generally speaking, the pattern's the same. Stuff over the mountains, stuff on the coast, and that's sort of not as much in between, which is quite trophy signature wise. And we'll go and see what Icon does during the day tomorrow. If I recall, it actually backs off this stuff quicker than the other models do, and that's pretty much showing what it is now. And you can see how that sort of, there's almost like a V here, or like that curve, like a half a circle. You can see that, and it's pushing into the Illawarra. And that's what basically all models will have, is that the trough will disappear. It basically slides down the coast, and disappears. And Icon obviously has that a lot quicker. So again, not massive falls, but still up to 20, 30 mils during the day, 12 hours, still pretty wet. And then you can see still has those residual showers left over through to early Friday morning, up 10 mils. We'll add definitely to some totals, and then quickly clearing during Friday. Goodbye and event all over. All right, let's go and have a look now at what we've got with the old Access, and then we'll check out the higher Bureau resolution model very soon. Access again, pretty much same as EC and Icon, so you can pretty much say now this is the scenario. And so I guess the scenario is obviously watching for that mass coming out from northwest and how it interacts. And Access, teens, some good falls out in the west. I'm sure those out in Penrith and Richmond will be happy to get an inch, inch and a half of rain tomorrow, especially in August as their driest month of the year by a long way. And then we'll have a look what happens through the day. Let's push it down 6 to 6. And you can see again, so Axis does actually wane with, basically lowers the sort of falls over the Blue Mountains and picks them up against across the coast. You can see 35, 40 mils on the coast there. The good news is it's not major falls over that Nepean catchment. So fingers crossed we may actually avoid any sort of flooding whatsoever. But again, because the ground's so saturated, anything that does fall is going to run off too. So if it does sort of fall in a very quick period, then there's definitely a possibility. All right, and then into overnight, Thursday and Friday. Still, again, consistent scenario of coastal showers, then go up to 10 mils, and I'm assuming that rapidly clears Friday. Yep. So I think sort of Friday mid-morning, maybe even Friday sort of lunchtime, we'll have pretty clear skies, and it'll actually get a little bit warmer too. Thank goodness as that cold air drags away. Alrighty, and last but not least, we'll look at the high-res Axis C, and then we'll quickly do the accumulated, and then quickly take some questions, and I have to POQ. And you can see Access C, you can see how it has these bands, which is very indicative of it, those rain trains, showers organized by the wind shear that up above the surface, and still some pretty good falls there, basically everywhere. So, 20 to 30 mils running almost across the whole basin. And more of this banding, sort of hit and miss stuff. I guess we'll see. Still some focus over the Blue Mountains, but not as significant or strong as other models had. And then we'll push into tomorrow, so we'll go 6 to 6. You can see those yellows and greens really pushing across the basin. So Axis C does really ramp it up through the day tomorrow. You can see, 12 hours, some big falls there, right across the whole sort of basin as well. Like you get 30 to 50 mils. Coast interestingly goes down. Be interesting that. But yeah, you can see again those bands, those rain trains. So I guess it's what Axis is saying is you really need to be under one of those sort of bands to cop this. But again, we'll see. Healthy skepticism, and it pretty much then it runs out at 3 a.m. because it doesn't go for very long. But you can see those showers and stuff withdrawing, retreating to the coast, and still letting some coastal showers behind. All right, we'll do what Access sees cumulative falls is, and don't forget this is only 3 a.m. Friday, so we'll do actually. Look, won't go any further because I'm actually at the model's limit. Okay, so Access C not as excited as any other models. We'll see how it goes, but still 80 mils in the west, in the southwest, in the center as well, 60 to 70 mils across the center, 50, 60 mils on the coast, still pretty significant. Falls up to sort of, what's that, sort of up to 100 mils in some places in the Bear Mountains and that. But that's right over the dam, so that shouldn't cause too much of an issue, you think. But this is the area here. I think this is pretty much what they're worrying about. 80 to 100 mils in the Nepean catchment. Um, Obviously, will raise some eyebrows and maybe create some minor flooding dramas, but we'll see. And we do not want to see these sort of falls up here for our friends at the Dargle Ski Club and in Lower Portland at all. Shout out to them. So we were hoping this one's absolutely baloney wrong, and we'll see. And so EC now, EC, again, we'll start that at right now and we'll go through to sort of Friday night. And I just think I did show this, didn't I? I forgot. 80 mils, 90 mils in the mountains. Good thing is there's not not a big accumulation of heavy falls. There's obviously some heavy falls in those higher peaks from that orographic effect, but there's not a big blob or bullseye of heavy falls. Interesting thing is, as I said, like there's 100 mils just on the coast here. So, this is definitely where you can see the trough. You can see definitely a thick line. It just takes 5 to 10 kilometers difference, and there's 100 mils easy in falls compared to 80. So even 75. So 25 mils in difference in a few kilometers. Definitely something to keep an eye out for. Again, this sort of rain shadow effects. That's what EC says. We'll see. Let's have a look at Get Far Away Soon. It's not unexpected. It is actually very bullish about falls, heavy falls right across the basin, and that's most likely because it's a 22-kilometer resolution model, so it's very low res, so it's smoothing out. But one thing that does then flag is that it's detecting higher falls in some areas, and that's definitely a concern. You can, especially around, around here, it's flagging, 100 mils potentially in that Nepean catchment. So somewhere is going to get some pretty heavy falls on GFS anyway, where it's working out, and somewhere is going to sort of miss out a bit more. So this is definitely something worth watching, and this does raise, I guess, some eyebrows and some question marks about exactly where this is going to go. If it happens, of course, with a big question mark there. Icon, again, the poorer cousin of everyone. It's not as excited as this. You can see pretty up to 60, 70, maybe 70 mils on the coast, 40 maybe 50 mils in the inner west, and then 40 to maybe 30, 40 to 50 mils in the west as well. I imagine there's a bit more that the mountains will squeeze out that orographic effect that the icon's sort of discounting a bit. Probably the driest out of all of them, and it didn't do that well last time, if you recall. So, grain of salt. Access C, sorry, Access generally. Again, it's sort of downplayed quite a lot, and you forget it was actually. I'm actually going to check this in a minute because when I looked briefly before, it actually had something different. So we'll check this about what because there's definitely a discontinuity between Windy and the site that I use, which pulls the raw grid data or the file data right out of the various models and displays it. So there's something not right here, Windy, and I'm going to do that right now. So we can see here what we say: 60 on the coast, 50 in the west, and 30, 40 in the mills in the inner. Let's go and have a look here right now, and I'll show you because this is Access G accumulated. So 60 to 70, close, 30 to 40. What's the other section? That's only for Thursday. So again, it's already wrong. So let's have a look here. We'll go 0 to 60. Let's have a look. See what I'm saying? Like Windy's way behind. Like it's got 100, 125 mils on the coastal edge. Definitely heavy fall, 60 to 70 in that western area. That was not on what was accessed on that Windy. So there's something definitely wrong with me. I probably need to email about that because there's something missing. Because that's a significant difference. That's 20 to 30 mils difference, or 40 mils difference at some page. Because then he had 60 mils, wasn't it for Sydney Coast? And this one here's got up to 125 in some areas. You know, especially at the Northern Beaches area, they look easy in that curve. In here, the city, 100 up to 125, Manly up to 125. I mean, there's something not right there. So definitely, this is why I wanted to show you this one in the first place. Because that's not good. to be under by 40 mils, that says to me there's something missing in my life. Baby, it's you. All right, okay. We'll check out now. We'll go to. I'm lost. Where's my map? There's the models. We'll check out. Let's see what Access C says on here. Um, see how close it is. We can do all here because that is. Oh, see then. Look at that. That is not what Access C was just showing us on Windy. You know, 80, 90 mils near Campbelltown, Lucas Heights area, sort of back of Holsworth, that's some stuff there as well. Again, the coast 70 to 80 mils, which is pretty close to what we needed to have on access, but still, up to 90 mils there around the CBD and in the west, and Mascot close. North Sydney, 90 to 100 mils there, right through to the Mayor of Freshwaters area there. Again, that's not what access will see, and this is the problem here. This is what the bureau would definitely be eyeing off. A lot of that's going to be filtered out by the escarpment, but you can see there 100 to 125, 150 mils on that back end of the escarpment there, definitely into the Nepean. That's definitely what they'll be watching. And you can see here some big falls in that upper catchment as well for the Windsor Caribou, flowing into obviously the Hawkesbury as well. So definitely something worth watching there, which is obviously what the Bureau was running off Axis C a bit there. So again, that's not what we just saw in Windy. So that is very, very concerning. GFS, let's have a look. It should pop up straight away. Now, again, this was a little bit on Windy. I think, come on, go up for goodness sake. Oh, crap, so freaking useless. I told you widespread 90 to 100. See, that wasn't what GFS showed us either on Windy. There's no age of 90 to 100 mils and 100 to 125 mils. That was not even close what we just saw. I'm not going nuts in my like you guys saw this live with me. Like it's not what Windy was showing at all. In fact, we can do a live comparison quickly now. Let's have a look. We're looking at GFS. No, close to 100 or 125. It's got 80 to 90. Something not right there at all. Anyway, um, this would be no doubt concerning people and the bureau about the Nepean as well. Not concerning, but that's obviously why they flagged the flood advice or the flood watch. Sorry. All right, let's have a look at UK Met. I'm going to keep an eye on that time because otherwise I'm going to be divorced. All right, we'll go there to 0. All right. Again, pretty much what we're seeing, consistent pattern. Wet coast, wet mountains, bit of a break in between. That's that classic trophy signature, but still pretty significant falls across most of that. And UK Met's pretty conservative. So when they're saying, 90 to 100 mils, probably a little bit more. And just a blob of 175 just off the coast, and there's nothing stop. That could easily come across as well. So, the potential is there for up to 150 mils, and that does edge and only what 15, 20 k's to that west a little bit more. There goes Sydney's rainfall record for August. So that's how close it is. Which is why I've been excited about it because we really are on the verge of something historic. Right, let's see. I'm not sure if this is going to be actually updated to 00Z yet. This is the only thing about using this site. It is actually because they pull the raw files down. You can see it's only got Thursday, and it's only got 1 hour for Thursday. So the best I can do is I'll show you. I can show you 18Z, which is pretty shitty model to be honest, but it's the best we got at this stage. Quickly look at that. Again, EC, look at that. 120 to 125. 1 to 125. That was not what we just saw. No, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. That's a complete disparity, and that's not a good thing to see in terms of that. Something their models, something that they're not picking up or not displaying properly. That's a pretty wet signature for EC. As that maintains into 12Z, it's going to be a pretty wet and wild day tomorrow looking at that. All right, we go down to CMC. Now, CMC no doubt will have the flood of Noah, so just prepare ourselves. Gets a little bit excited, our good old CMC. Now I ain't going to show it. Since I bagged it, it's like, nope. Oh, because I got to put the precip on. That's why. All right, so there we go. Yeah, I mean, look at that, 175. I don't think that's possible, but if it does come off, then yeah, there's going to be some problems for everybody, to be honest. In the Pena Hawkesbury, and definitely southwest Sydney, northwest Sydney. 175 over this couple of days. We'll see some pretty big stream rises. To be honest, I'm not sure it's going to happen, but best off looking at the pattern. It's very much a GFS pattern as opposed to what we saw in Axis and EC. Alrighty, righty. Let's go to Icon now, which again, don't forget was the dry one. So this is going to be fascinating to see because this will be a great test. Because Icon was dry. Let's have a look. Go there. That's not what we saw on Windy. Okay, so now we know there's a pretty big problem with Windy because look at that. 90 to 100 mils, some of the aspects of the coast. Slab of 40 to 50, bit drier there. Um, not as wet over the mountains, which is what it did show on Windy. So interesting here. You can see the trough is just off the coast there, so it doesn't encroach on the coast. It must be this upper system does push it or keeps it away. But that's definitely different to what we just saw. Interesting. And maybe it's a color thing too, I don't know. But that's not the figures I was reading out to you guys. So, all right, here's the EC AI model. We'll go here and we'll put that back to there. So we're all consistent sort of time periods. Yeah, again, and this is actually right. Yeah, it's just the this morning's one. In the evening, or sorry, the lunchtime one, the afternoon one will be out very soon too. But a broad slab of 90 to 100 there, so it's definitely going for a very wet day. And that 80 to 90 pushing way up in the mountains. So it's the AI model for EC, which is a little bit lower res. My understanding is actually than the numerical model, but it's flagging a very wet day tomorrow. So if EC looks like this as well, then it's going to be pretty wet and wild. All right, and last but not least, look at the Bureau's ADFD, which is their Met-Eye model. So this is the one they generate a lot of their rainfall sort of models and stuff that you see when you go to their charts. And I believe this is the one that actually also generates the automatic rainfall figures you see on the forecasts as opposed to Axis. I'm not 100% certain about that, but I believe that that's the case. Let's have a look what it shows. So, and it's this afternoon's run too, 06. So it's pretty much, oh, sorry, yeah, this afternoon's run, 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. So it's pretty much. But again, don't forget it's a fairly limited model. So I'm not sure exactly the number crunching. It does it a bit differently. It's not an AI model and it's not a numerical model, true numerical model. It's got like a bit of a hybrid stuff, if I remember reading about this stuff. But again, it's pretty much confirming, wet coast, wet everywhere else. Bit of a focus over the mountains as well. But, 50 to 90, 100 millimeters are possible. Again, the purple is not far off the coast. And so that's definitely, I don't think that's going to threaten Sydney's record, but it's definitely going to threaten Mascot's record and a few other ones down on the coast there, no doubt whatsoever. Alrighty, I'll put the radar back on, and then while I chat with you lovely people, quickly answer questions, and I'll have to absolutely POQ quick. Um, Again, if I'm late, I'm blaming the Mayor of Camden. Um, alright, let's go. We'll put this on in the background for you. Um, yeah, we don't need an hour, we don't need much more of that. And it's got the forecast button so you can see what it's sort of forecasting. You see there's a mass of stuff starting to form off to the northeast, and it's starting actually to move more to this west southwest, which is that this mass coming down from the northwest really starting to influence it. So that's the thing to keep an eye on. Again, don't forget wind pressure, wind speed and air pressure. Keep an eye on those two things. Critical. As soon as you start to see air pressure drop, you know, half a hectopascal or 1 hectopascal, then you know that the trough is really starting to hammer and get going organized and it's closer to us, which is what it's what's really going to be needed if we're going to see any sort of heavy falls out of this, to be honest. Otherwise, pretty just get a repeat of today, maybe a little bit more rain, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's go. Hello, Bradley. Hello, Mr. Sharp. They were nice and early. Barry, I hope you're feeling better. Good evening to you up there. Bob's your uncle. Lovely to see you. Hi ho to you too. Positive. Oh, I love that name. Positive. That's good. Deborah. Hello, Deborah. Naz, nice to hello to you. EJ, I was actually just talking about you before. Hopefully you're here for that. Constant Gosford, yep, no doubt about that. What up there, Deborah? Trinity, loving to meet you, Trinity. Um, Lovely. Thank you so much for that feedback. Appreciate that. And I'm glad to have you on board the Patreon. I definitely that is what you've described there is exactly what I want to do with my stuff, which is to basically make it consumable, digestible, so everybody can get something out of it. And as I once described to somebody, it's got the It's got the sugar free, the sugar hits for the millennials, the younger people to sort of have a bit of a laugh and engage with, and it's got the meat and three veg for the people like Barry and that stuff who love to get into their Mac and have a bit more substance about it. So I try and blend both of those. Absolutely. Um, Mr. Yates, hello, lovely to see you, the drone master himself. Lovely to see you online as well, our drone king. And anybody ever got any questions about drone stuff, make sure you ask Mr. Yates. He is the guru of that. And of course, you're looking for someone to trim your hedge or your lawn or your merkin. The Mayor of Campton, Mr. Sharp, lawn doctor at Campton, is the man to hit up. Check him out on Facebook. He's got a great Facebook page when he updates it. Not just joking. He's got great pictures and stuff on there, jobs he's done. So please, if you need your trees, bushes, merkin trimmed, hit him up. He'll even do it in a pair of speedos. Apparently, I've heard. I'm not going to testify to that, but I've just heard around the traps that he will do that in the speedos. So, um, drought conditions for Bobby Uncle moving forward. Yeah, um, be interesting. Interesting few months coming ahead. Is it low again, Mr. Will? I thought it was up. It's on my thing is going off, pumping up and down. Um, Blame the drones, yeah. Um, East Kurrajong, yeah. I feel for you, Bradley. Hello to you, and thank you for all the info you send through to me as well. I'm not sure. I said I still have misgivings about those actual falls. I'm not sure if the models are overexcited. Yeah, I just do not trust upper lows at all after we've been duffed by a few of them recently. So, we'll just obviously we'll keep you updated. Absolutely, if there's any increase in any threat levels, that sort of stuff as well. So, but yeah, I'm not 100%. I think that there'll be definitely some spillover from that Illawarra escarpment incident in opinion, but I'm not sure that we'll see the rest of that stuff yet, but we'll see. Um, Tad damn. Yep, yep, yep. Tracy, hello, good evening up there, our lovely friends at DVBC Dargle Ski Park, and I actually have downloaded that, so I'm going to bring that across in a minute and show everybody because if they do love speedboats, here we go. This is the event's info. So this is where you need to be on the 31st of August to the what is the September, but there you go. So Saturday 30th and Sunday 31st of August. Um, so yeah, we need to send out good vibes for our lovely friends out there that they get the river stays nice and clean. Can stay nice and high, I guess, nice and flat for them. Lots of water is good for the boats, I guess. But yep, get out there and support our lovely folk of Dargle Ski Park um, at Lower Portland. I must get out there one day and check it out. I've never been up that way. I've always meant to do the go the buckets. Where's no, not the buckets way. That's Gloucester. What's the back way there? The scary road into the Hunter. Apparently, it's quite good. Bit of a great drive. Um, Hello, Funky Diva. I'm sorry about Patreon being late. I'm not sure what's going on there. Um, they're a bit dodgy, are they? Yeah. I maybe not sure. Do you get the emails well? Because I noticed that I get the emails a lot quicker than I do get the notifications from the app. To be honest. Uh, Quick question: can the mountains cause the rain to bounce back towards the coast? No, but they do cause a damming effect, though. So you think about like if you put, like a concrete wall across the river, what happens there? The water starts to hit against it, push up, and then pushes back outstream, back upstream, and they can have that effect absolutely, which is why these events, these troughs especially, prolific rain is on the Blue Mountains, and then it pushes back towards the coast because it all just dams up and builds up, and then the water's, the rain's got nowhere to go, the air's got nowhere to go, so it just dumps all over us. Um, I go camping. The mayor of Freshwater is here. Hello, lovely to see you. Um, Hopefully you can get too wet on your lovely, beautiful new motorcycle, and I hope your new job is smashing, going great. Um, Not going to be able to get you right on jobs now. I'm sorry, Mr. Sharp. That's pretty not. Um, Rat sale. Sorry, watching IT crowd clips. So IT crowd clips, right? So that sounds fascinating. Um, IT crowd clips. Is that like spy cam or something like that, or stuff about IT stuff? Right, so let us know what it's about. Sounds interesting. Um, uh, shoot to do Rachel. G'day, Rachel. Lovely to see you too. Um, windy is smoky stuff, absolutely for sure. A bit so-so, is it? Oh, I'm actually like sitting right next to it, and my bar's going to go now, so I'm not sure what that's doing. What time is the heavy rain expected to start to clear tomorrow? And you go into facility for uni between 7:30 to 10 p.m. Tomorrow, I'm not sure. The heaviest stuff, I think, by probably maybe evening, early evening, but it'll still be, I think, around, well, again, timing. It could be around, it could be gone. It's a $64 million question. I think it will have started to clear by then, but I think there'll still be showers as well. That sort of bands coming in. Again, we'll watch the wind. So as soon as you start to see that sort of northerly component anyway time soon, it's on its way out the door. Um, no chance of speedos. Ah, you spoil sport. Oh, you caramba, it's 10 to 10. Oh, no, I'm going to be in trouble. Okay, evening, I think Dag will be mud bowl. I'm going to put out good thoughts. And let's hope we get some of those horrendous August westerlies. It'll dry those grounds pretty quickly. Um, it's not wet, not snowing yet, that's true. Buy a small boat. Hello, Kerry. Lovely to see you too. And you pretty may need a boat, small boat. Although I do expect things will start to ease off quite rapidly. To be honest, I think that as the SOI starts to uh, get into gear and La Nina does fire up, we might have a bit of a drier, warmer period for a bit of a while before it fires up. But then rain will be back early next year, I think, for a period of time. But I don't think it's going to be a very strong or long El Nino, La Nina. But definitely looks like El Nino may be brewing for next year. So enjoy the rain while you can now. Um, Bell's Line Road, that's the one. Thank you, Rachel. I've heard that's actually a really good trip, but it's a bit scary in some places, especially up there through past the lower port and up that way. Um, I don't know, but isn't Bells goes up? Does the Bells go up to Belpin? Is it the one? Is it the what's the one that goes between the back of Richmond there all the way up through into comes into like Singleton Muscle like Singleton there. It's not Bells on, isn't it? Bells goes up to Belpin, isn't it? I'm not sure. I don't know, look up maps. Um, look at that radar. Looks like some sort of boundary between Candos and Cumnock. What a horrible name for a place. Yeah, that's definitely that trough moving towards us, and you can see on the satellite there it's moving, and the radar there it's moving pretty quickly this way. And some decent force on the back of the Blue Mountains as well. So keeping an eye on that sort of stuff. My head's been getting cranky as the day goes on. That's a good indication that pressures is going to start lowering. So thank you. That's a good, definitely. We don't want to speak to the mic. Okay, well, maybe I'll put the mic over here about that. It's because I'm looking away, trying to read your comments. Um, went to Ralston for a wine lunch back on the way. It's amazing. My God, Barry, you have the most absolute amazing life that we all want to live. You seem to be just live from winery to winery. So you must send us your secrets. Um, Barry's book of living from winery to winery because it sounds absolutely amazing. And you get across the whole place as well. My God, you travel so much. I don't know how you have time to do it. Unless it's part of your job, of course, and then lucky you. Putty Road, that's the one. Pos, thank you, Positive. It's the Putty Road. Yeah, the Bells one goes up into Bell. Is it Belpin or Binpin or Bilpin or something like that, where they grow all the apples and that sort of stuff. Up the back through into the Blue Mountains that way, but it's Putty Road. That's right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yep. Thank you, thank you. Righty. Bill's on it. Yeah, to Lithgow. That's the one. It's beautiful right up that way though. I've been up to where they grow all the apples and stuff up there as well. Absolutely gorgeous up there. Scary road though, pretty narrow. All right, I am have to going to run because otherwise I'm definitely going to be in Judge Judy's divorce court. Thank you. It's lovely to see you all. We'll obviously keep you updated throughout the day tomorrow with fresh updates if things start to look a bit pear-shaped. And obviously tonight as well, we're keeping an eye very much on those Blue Mountains. And we will have access to, I'm just minimize this now, but we'll go in radar and I'll show what we've got access to. Obviously, this radar rainfall, which is very handy in terms of I can do 15-minute loops, I can do 30-minute loops, so I can actually see what is falling up there. So that's pretty handy to keep an eye on what's exactly going on in terms of impacts upon those obviously streams, that sort of stuff for you guys. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that for you. You can see it's a pretty wet day. and it's starting to get wet up there already. So up to 25 mils in some places. So that'll have things starting to pump, and you can see even for everybody here since 9 a.m. it's been pretty wet. Up near the Mare of Freshwater is getting up to 50 mils, and a slab of 25 to 30 mils along the coast already, including up there in old Sunny Coast up to 35 mils. So yeah, it's looking pretty wet. And I think to show before I do POQ. This is the last 3 days. This is basically since this event's just sort of starting to get going. But I mean, look at this. Just near me, nearly 300 mils up at the back of the Shire there, in the Royal National Park. Like, it has just been torrential out there. And even the Shire here, the peninsula, we've had 150 mils in the 3 days. Um, it's just been wet even here to the southeast of Sydney, across the coast there, where all the hoity-toities live. But they're up to 125 mils as well. Then we had that really nasty cell up there yesterday, up near the Mare of Freshwater. They're getting up into 70 to 125 mils on the coast in some places, and even pushing in as far as Mr. Dine in Campbelltown. There you can see the back of Lucas Heights and Minto, and that's the stuff place here, and in Holsworth and stuff. They've had 125 mils themselves, and that's pretty significant for them. Like, especially in August, they're used to like 40 or 50 mils. So, um, some massive, massive freaking falls, like absolutely massive falls. You can see pushing up here to Rockdale, Hurstville, 125 mils in 3 days. Even went up to almost into the Mayor of Wentyville, only 90 mils out his way too. So, it's been wet. It has been absolutely wet. And then you add on what we've seen since 9 a.m. today. Um, some places are going to be pushing close to 400 mils for this week. No, about this month. I wish this had like a month. Like, well, there you go. That's the 7 days. That's the last weekend's a little bit on that. Like almost 400 mils there already. And then you add what's going to fall in the next few days. It's just freaking insane. It has been wet. Wet, 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 wet. All right, I do need to run. Oh my God, I'm going to be so in trouble. Thank you for your company. It has been absolutely awesome to have the pleasure of you all again. And as I said, we will definitely keep you updated. I need to shut up because I can just keep talking to you guys all along. And I definitely have to be in places very shortly. Otherwise, look after yourselves. Keep an eye on your notifications. We'll, of course, definitely keep you up to date with what the hell is going on. Otherwise, be nice to each other. Thank you for your company again, and your support is greatly appreciated. And we will be chatting with you very shortly. Have a good one. Good night.